I think, as you asked the question, I think about it a couple different ways. So one of them relates to decisions that I might be involved in relating to business development opportunities in markets, like China, Vietnam, Indonesia, Brazil, Mexico, Russia, where you've got a changing dynamic in our industry and an opportunity to potentially kick your position up a couple of notches if you can make the right kind of acquisition. And that's, as Alan said, that's the decision that comes to the CEO. That's, the board looks to you to say, are you going to make this work or not? But there's a fair amount, you've got to have a real strong understanding locally of what that opportunity is. And so there's a translation between, okay, we've spotted this opportunity in China. Let's get our Chinese marketing company president to the table to make him really help us understand how he sees it, and decide based on that how far do we really want to go. And I think that's a very different kind of a decision than a promotion or marketing or sales decision around targeting, around messaging, around the levers that work locally to drive business forward where I'm not in. That's hold the person accountable. They are accountable to deliver. If they're not delivering, you make a decision about the person, not about the way they operate. So I think you got to come at it a couple different ways. What are the bigger decisions? These guys come back and say, we want to hire 500 new people in China, put them on the ground. I got to figure out how am I going to sell that to my shareholders and my board relative to what it's going to cost me on my P&L to get value a year or two down the road. So I think the bigger stuff, yes. Local stuff, no.
Okay. I work in a company with 400,000 people and around the globe, but my business is just part of that, and we expand and move at different speeds and in different ways than IBM does in its whole. And I could say that for every part of IBM. It's just an aggregation of a whole range of businesses. And when we look at moving into new markets and operating in newer markets, then it gives a whole range of challenges because IBM has a big, large system which it operates, but it has to move at speed in the local market. And David Garant and Alan have mentioned getting closer to the customers and understanding the local markets, and you can't run that from New York. So you have to have a balance here of having the team on the ground getting close to the customers, operating at the speed and in the tempo and the way that the local market expects. However, then you have the issue of how you inform and how you manage that in a way that is compliant with and works for our company. And so the issue around how you provide data and information so that those local operations work effectively is a key challenge, but also how you collect data and bring that into the global system is also very, very key. So it presents a bunch of challenges, but the key thing is that you can't run the local team from some central place. Yeah. However, you have to create a management system that allows IBM, in our sense, to run effectively. So,
okay. But it just maybe I can pick up. It just comes back to what we were saying. The decisions, are they in line with the company's strategy? It obviously depends on the scale and size of the decision, but that is a clear starting point. Whether you're in a remote location or wherever you are, it has to be linked back to the company's goals in the first place. And then clearly, you need the right people on the ground. You need people who are close to the customers and close to that particular marketplace.
I'd just add a couple of points to that. One, the 2 points that I think of when looking at the emerging markets, the BRIC economies, are the need to be flexible, so flexibility, and the size of the market. Now, what do I mean by size? I use this, and still people in my old company didn't really appreciate. India is bigger than the whole of North America, Europe, and Russia put together. So is China. 1.2 billion people. We're in a little country of 50-odd million. So the size is a huge difference to what we're used to operating in. And secondly, the need for flexibility. What do I mean by that? Well, we operated 3 different models. I'm talking now about Costa. We operated a franchise model where we had companies such as the Emirates Airlines company as our franchisee in Dubai. We operate a joint venture model, and we had joint ventures in Russia and in China. It's very, very important to find the right partner. And we also operated a wholly owned equity model of companies that we bought, particularly in Central Europe and Poland, stemming from Poland. But finding the right partner with the right cultural fit is really, really difficult. I know in India it took us a year to negotiate a joint venture. It took us a year to find out it wasn't going to work, and it took us a year then to dismantle the joint venture. And I knew it was going wrong when I was in Delhi in the partners' offices, and they had a raid by the sort of Foreign Exchange Commission at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was there about 9 o'clock. They were carting out filing cabinets and things, and I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Don't worry, it's just a routine raid." Which I thought, oh, right, time to think again.